Hello everybody and welcome to my next Silver Swan session in the virtual village hall. It's lovely to be back. Obviously I wasn't in last month and I was due to be in yesterday, but there were a few problems. So anyway, I'm here today. I hope we're all having a lovely day today. It's a rather rainy day here in Manchester. So we've got some beautiful ballet to cheer us all up anyway. Today's session, I'm going to be doing a little bit based around the ballet of Lasalle, not to be confused with the ballet Lasalle. I'll explain the difference a little bit later on. But today's session is suitable for absolute beginners. So if you've never done ballet before, this is a perfect opportunity for you to just give it a go. So if you're joining in, please feel free to pop in the comments and say hello, say whereabouts you're joining in from today. Before we begin, obviously when you're doing the session, just take it according to how you feel. Only do what you know is comfortable for you to do. Also, please, just before we begin, check your surroundings, check you're not going to trip over anything, check the dogs out the way, things like that. We need some water as well, and you will need something to use as a ballet bar. You can see there I've got my chair. So just something nice and sturdy that won't wobble over. Dining table chairs are absolutely ideal for this, unless you already have a ballet bar, in which case you can use that. But like I said, it is suitable for absolute beginners today. Just check your flooring isn't slippy as well. Right, so we're going to begin with 2 warm-ups. The first warm-up is just getting us generally moving. The second warm-up is a little bit more specifically for our feet. Those of you that have done my sessions before, you'll know, hopefully starting to know these warm-ups now. Okay. So I'll just get my camera set up. There we go. Now I'm being music DJ and dance teacher today. So I'll try my best to get my volumes right before I begin. Let me just get that set up. There we go, right. Okay, so let's get started with our warm-up. So we're just going to travel around in a circle, just walking. If you haven't got enough space to walk in a circle, you can walk on the spot. Let's begin. Okay. So we're going to walk around. Okay, now take your hands slowly up and slowly down and up and down and up and down and up, and now we're going to come into the middle, feet together, hands in front, and we'll bend and stretch. Nice big bend and stretch. And bend and stretch. Bend and stretch. And bend and stretch. We'll take both hands behind us now. And into the middle, both hands behind you. And into the middle. Now let's sway to the side. It doesn't matter which side. We just want a nice big bend and stretch. Keep it moving. Keeping your arms flowing. Bend and stretch. One more sway. Feet together, breathing in and breathing out. Okay, good. Right, we'll do our second warm-up now. So for this one, like I said, it's going to be specifically for our feet. So we're going to need our ballet bars for this one. So just something nice and sturdy that won't wobble over. About the height of your waist is best. And we're going to face our bar for this. I'll talk a little bit about our posture first of all. Now, posture is very, very important in ballet. Those of you that have done my sessions before, you'll know how much we talk about posture. And in my own Silver Swan sessions as well, because I teach online Silver Swans as well on Zoom. And we do talk a lot about our posture because that's just so important for dancers of all ages. Right the way from little 3-year-old beginners all the way through to Silver Swans. So, the way how we're setting ourselves up at the bar is obviously going to affect our posture and will affect our balance. So when you're standing at your bar, just check you're not too close to the bar. We know how far away we stood from our elbows. If your elbows are bent, then you're too close. If they're straight, you're too far away. So we want them to just have a nice soft curve. We'll just stand with our feet together because, like I said, this is all about warming up your feet. It's nothing about technique. So we'll just take a moment now to think about our posture. Now, I have a favourite piece of imagery, which some of you might know from my previous sessions. Imagine your head is like a helium balloon that's floating upwards, but your feet are the weight that are remaining very grounded. So we've got almost like this two-way stretch. So all the time we're lifting up, but our feet are staying round. But remember to keep your shoulders nice and relaxed when you're doing that. Okay, so throughout the session, I'll try and prompt you to remind you of your posture. I find that that piece of imagery does work. If not, you can imagine that you've got like a piece of string coming from the middle of your head. That can also help as well, because we really want our core to be engaged. Okay, so let's get moving with our feet. Now we've set ourselves up correctly. We're set up correctly for the rest of the lesson now. So we're going to go to our demi point. So a nice crease in your shoe to a point. Demi point and down. So we're just warming up the different parts of our feet, toes and down. Demi point to a point, demi point and down, demi point to a point, demi point and down. Then we're going to point and flex our feet. So pointing your foot in front, flexing it. And when you flex, really push your heel away from you. Then you get a nice stretch as well. Ripple through your foot and closing in. Pointing, flexing, ripple through your foot. Then we're still warming up those feet and closing. Pointing, flexing, pointing and closing. One more, and flex and point and close. Okay, so just using the different parts of our feet, because obviously when we're pointing our foot, we've got our ankle and then we've got our toes, and so we're wanting to work through those different sections of your feet. So let's do our second warm. I'll just check my music's at the right volume. Here we go. Right, let's go. Off we go. Demi point to a point. Demi point and down. Demi point to a point. Demi point and down. Same again. To a point. Demi point and down. Demi point to a point. Now pointing and flexing. Pointing, flexing, pointing, closing in. Same again. One more. Okay, good. Right. We're going to do now our first exercise at the bar, which is our plies. Plie means to bend. I'll just go through some of the positions of the feet that we're going to use. There are 5 positions of the feet in ballet. We mainly use just 3 of them for today's session. So if you just stand with your feet together, toes together, legs together, and then we're going to keep our heels in contact with each other. We're going to turn our toes away from each other, but your heels stay in contact. And we call that first position. So it should be a comfortable position. Think like a right angle. You know, if you were standing on a clock, it will be 10 to 2, 5 to 1, somewhere in between. It should feel nice and comfortable. We're not thinking of really turning our feet out too much, just a comfortable position. Now, you keep the same amount of turnout in your feet and just put a little space between your feet. Okay, that's second position. Now, in second position, you want to make sure that your weight is in the middle of both of your feet. Make sure you're not leaning on one leg more than the other. And be careful as well that you now haven't got one foot which is more turned out than the other. Okay, we want them to be absolutely matching, weight in the middle, both legs straight. So, first position. And then if you point your foot to the side, we can go to second position. Now, if we come back into first for a moment and slide one of your feet in front so that your heel of your front foot is now in contact with the middle of your back foot. And that's our third position. And we can have third position with either foot in front. So we can have third position with one foot in front, or you can have third position with the other foot in front. So we've got feet in first. We've got feet in second. And then if you close that foot in front, we've got feet in third. And those are the 3 positions that we're going to go through now for our plies. So I'll just turn to face the camera just for one moment to show you what our plie is. So our heels are staying in contact with the floor. Our big toes are on the floor. Our little toes are on the floor. We're just going to bend our knees and stretch. Now, you might find that it's only a small demi plie. You might find it's a huge demi plie. It's just where is comfortable for you. but always making sure that we're keeping our heels on the floor. A lot depends just on the length of your Achilles as to how big that plie is going to be, but it's whereabouts is correct for you. Okay, so bending knees and stretching. So that's a demi plie, and we can do these in any of the positions. We can do them in second position, which is what we're going to do, and we can also do them in third position, but all the time heels are staying on the floor and we're keeping our back nice and straight. I'll just turn to face the side. So when you're taking your plie, what we don't want to happen is that you're leaning forwards. Feel as though you've got your back almost like against a wall and you're keeping your back really straight. Think of that helium balloon, straight away back to the posture that we learned at the beginning. The helium balloon is floating upwards, but you're just bending. You know how if you were to pull on the cord of a helium balloon, how it would still be trying to float upwards. That's what we should feel like. So although we're sinking, we're still feeling lifted. Hope that makes sense. So feet in first position. We'll face our ballet bar. Just get yourself set up correctly, so at the correct distance. Then we'll take 3 demi plies in first. 1. And stretch. So we're wanting our knees to go over our toes. And stretch. So thinking about that nice straight back. And stretch. Then we'll go to second position, just like how we practiced before. Check your feet are matching. Check they've turned out the same. Demi plie 1. And stretch. Demi plie 2. And stretch. A third demi plie. And stretch. And then we'll close into third position. So bringing your foot in front. Demi plie 1. And stretch. Demi plie 2. Still feeling like you're lifting up nice and tall. 3. And stretch. And then we'll close our feet back to first position. We're going to do a little port de bras. So taking your right hand all the way up, big circle opening out, and put it back onto your ballet bar. And then the same with the other hand, circling it around and putting it onto the bar. So that's what we call a port de bras at the end. We'll talk a little bit more about port de bras. I just want you to really think about just getting your arms moving rather than keeping them stuck onto the bar. So let's have a go with our music. I'll just check my volume set correctly. Here we go. Right, let's go. Feet in first position, nice long necks and straight backs. And demi plie 1. And stretch. Demi plie 2. And stretch. Third demi plie. And stretch. Now we'll go to second position. Lowering down in second. Over your toes, stretching. 2. Keeping your back nice and straight. Think about that string coming from the middle of your head like we talked about. And into third position, so bring your foot in front. Demi plie 1. And stretch. Demi plie 2. And stretch. Demi plie 3. And we'll close back to first position. Okay, now it's our port de bras, taking your hand up, opening out, big circle, put it back onto the bar, and the other hand lifting up, big circle round, and put it back onto the ballet bar. And just think about your posture for a moment. Okay, good. I'll get my next track ready now, so we're ready to go. Okay, there we go. So for our next exercise, this is our battement tendu. So battement tendu sounds very complicated. It's just pointing and closing your feet, but we use it a lot in ballet to really develop the muscles in our feet. It helps with really helping with the mobility in your feet as well. They can be very pretty exercises, lots of really fancy settings. So today we're going to learn about the 3 directions that a battement tendu can be performed in. We can do them going to the front, which is your devant. We can do them going to the side, which we call à la seconde. And we can do them going to the back, which is derriere. Obviously, hopefully you've picked up by now that lots of the stuff is in French. So you're learning French as well as ballet. A 2-for-1 session today. So feet in first position. So we're standing sideways onto our bar now, just like we did before. Check your elbow for whether you're standing too close or too far away. You should have that nice soft curve. Now, my little tip for when you're holding onto your ballet bar, if you're holding onto it sideways on, especially if you're using a chair, is just take a step backwards so you're slightly behind the chair. Now put your hand into the middle of the chair. And what this does is it brings your hand in front of you, which then encourages you to bring your weight forwards. And that means that your core is engaged, which means that your balance will work. It's a big knock-on effect. If I stand too far forward and my hand is here, you can see straight away how that's pinched back in my shoulder. It's twisting my shoulders round. It's going to start to throw my weight completely off, which will make me lose my balance. So take a step back, hand in front of you, and your other hand is going to go onto your waist, elbow pointing to the side. So we have our outside leg, which is your leg furthest away from the bar, and your inside leg, which is your leg closest towards the bar. Your inside leg is going to have a little rest, okay? And your outside leg is going to do the work, okay? So we're going to point in front and close, and 2, and close, and 3, and close, and then we'll wait because then we're going to think we're going to go to the side. To the side and close, to the side and close, to the side and close, and then we'll wait. Then we'll go to the back and close, to the back and close, to the back and close, and then we'll wait. This hand that's been on our hip has been very still, so we're going to take it in that circular movement just like we did before. So we bring it up in front of you, open it out, and then we'll put it back onto our hip to finish off the exercise. Okay, so all the time when we're doing a back fondue, we're keeping our legs straight and our foot is sliding out to a point and a close and a point and close. Point and a close, and then we'll wait, and then we're changing our direction. So then we go to second. So when we're going to second, we think about our big toes being opposite each other. Okay. And when we're going to the front and the back, we think about it being in line with our hip and our shoulder all the time. So if it's behind you, it's behind your hip and your shoulder. And if it's in front of you, it's in front of your hip and your shoulder. Okay? So feet in first position, hand on your hip. Take a moment to think about your posture, lifting up, weight forwards. And we'll take our Grombatmans. Okay. Let's go. We'll go to the front and close, 2 and close, 3 and close, and we'll stand nice and tall. We're going to go to the side, side and close, side and close, point and close, and now we'll go to the back, derriere and close, derriere and close, and we'll wait. Now let's move our arm all the way up in front of us, opening out and lowering down. Okay, good. So let's go over onto our second side now. So obviously we've only worked one leg, so we need to keep it nice and even. So normally in a ballet class we'd turn around to face the other side, but so it's nice and easy to follow along with the video, you can just swap your chair over to the side and you can keep following me on the screen. Okay, so let's get ready on the other side now. Just check. Hands in front of you, weight forwards, elbow pointing to the side, and we're thinking about that helium balloon, shoulders relaxed. Let's go with music on the second side. Okay. And to the front and close, front and close, devant and close. Now we're going to go to second, same leg again. Point and close, point and close, point and close. Now we'll go to the back, 1 and close, 2 and close, 3 and close. Now we're going to use your arm all the way up, opening out, reach it out, and hand back onto your hip. Okay. going to do a step called a Battement Fondue. Okay, so if you want to swap your ballet bars back to where they were before, because we're going to do this exercise facing the bar. A Battement Fondue is a really nice, slow, gooey step. The way I describe it is like the inside of a curly whirly chocolate bar. It's got that caramel gooey stretch to it. Okay, it's a slow, sustained movement, brilliant for control and also for balance. So fondue meaning to melt, so you're probably thinking of cheese and chocolate right now as well. So this is more about your knees melting though. It's very similar to our plie, but it's got a little bit more control to it. So I'll just explain. If you just stand with your feet in third position for me and take a Demi Plie and stretch. So that's basically what's going on, that both knees are bending at the same time and both knees are stretching at the same time. But we've got the added coordination in there of your front foot is going to lift up as well. So it's going to lift up so your little toe touches your ankle bone. So your leg goes out to the side, little toe touches your ankle bone. It all happens at the same time as you're bending, and this is where the coordination comes in. So as your foot lifts, we're bending down, and as it goes back onto the floor into third position, that's when we stretch. Have another practice of that. So we'll take our fondue and stretching, and another fondue and stretching. Have a go with your other foot in front. So these are our Battement Fondues devant, because it's your front foot that's lifting. Little toe to your ankle bone and lowering back down. Little toe to your ankle bone and lowering back down. We're still thinking about all the things that we did in a plie. Heels on the floor, knees going out over your toes, okay? There seems to be a lot of things to remember in ballet, for technique-wise, but there are reasons behind it, for not only for historical reasons a lot of the time, why certain things have developed, but also for safety as well, like knees going over the toes so that we're not straining our knees. So it seems very particular, but there is reasons behind everything. Okay, so feet in third position, facing your ballet bar, thinking about our posture. So we're going to take our Battement Fondues, one, and stretch. A second fondue, and stretch. Now this foot that's in front, we're going to point it to the side and close it in at the back. Then we can go with the other foot at the front. Fondue and stretch. Front foot and stretch. Pointing your foot to the side. So that's your Battement Fondue to second like we learned. And it's going to close in at the back. Now, we're going to reverse it also. We're going to take our Battement Fondue Derriere. So if you're Fondue Derriere, it's your back foot that's going to lift. So now your big toe is touching your ankle bone. I'll just turn to face the back to show you. So we're just lifting up that foot at the back there. Lifting and lowering. Lifting and lowering. We're going to reverse it so that foot that's been lifting is going to close in front. Same with the other foot at the back. Back foot and stretch. Back foot and stretch. Pointing and closing in front. As I say to my own silver swans though, don't get too worried. If you get your legs in a bit of a muddle, just keep bending and stretching. It's still doing you a lot of good. So although we've got our fondues and our fondue devants and our fondue derrieres, we just want to keep the quality of the movement there. Okay, so let's do our Battement Fondues now. I'll just get the volume set correctly. Okay, here we go. So, feet in third position. And front foot and stretch. Front foot and stretch. Now we'll take that foot to the side. And we'll swap our feet over. Other leg, front foot. So this is your Battement Fondue devant. Fondue and stretch. Now we'll go to the side and closing in at the back. Now it's our back foot's turn. And back foot and stretch. Back foot and stretch. Pointing your foot to the side and closing in front. Back foot and one and stretch. Two and stretch. Fondue to second and closing in front. Okay. finish off our bar work now with one more exercise, which is our Grombatmans. We love Grombatmans. So we're going to do this with one hand on the bar, like we did for our Fondues. So they're quite similar to with Batman Fondue, where your foot's stretching in front. We're going to do them devant, which was going to the front. So remember we were saying about that your leg goes in front of your hip and your shoulder. So weight forward, hand in front of you on the bar, other hand on your waist. I'll just recap over the Fondue where we pointed our foot in front, and this is where the Grombatman develops, because we're going to lift our leg up, lower it to a point, and close. So I'll just turn to face the side so you can really see that. So I'm pointing, keeping my leg nice and straight. It lifts up as a straight leg, lowering it down and closing it in. The height of your leg isn't important. It's about gently building up that strength. You know, it really does help with the strength a lot in your legs. It's just about building up the strength. Even if it's just a tiny little lift, if you know that you can control that really well, then that's correct. Okay, so feet in first. We're going to start now to combine the point and the lift together. So it goes swish, point, close. Same again, swish, point, close. I'll turn to face the side to show you what I'm doing now. Swish, point, close. So the point and the close at the end has stayed the same. It's the swish at the beginning. Swish, point, close. So that is the true action of a Grombatman. Okay, so we're going to take 3 Grombatmans with our outside leg, a Demi Plie, 3 Grombatmans with our inside leg, and a Demi Plie. So feet in first. Outside leg, 1 and a point and a close and a wait, and a 2 and a point and a close and a wait, 3 and a point and a close. Sorry, we're not going to do a Demi Plie, we're going to take a rise instead. So a little rise and lower down. So just a little lift, keeping on the balls of your feet. Doesn't matter how high you lift your heels up off the floor, just a little lift and lower. Same with the other foot. Swish and a point and a close. Swish and a point and a close. Keep lifting up nice and tall and point and close. Rising up and lowering down. When you're taking that rise, be careful you're not rolling onto your little toes. You want to keep your ankles in a nice straight line. Okay, let's take our Grombatmans now to finish off our bar work. I'll set my volume first of all. Little Grombatman along the blue Danube. And swish and a point and a close. Second one. Third Grombatman. And rising up, so we're still thinking about that lifting up and lowering down. Other leg. 1 point and a close. Second one. Third Grombatman, swish, point, close, rising up and lowering down. Okay, good. Right, if you want to pop your ballet bars away, have a drink of water, and then we'll come back into the centre, ready to do what we call a port de bras, a word that we've come across at the bar just before. Okay. Just grab a quick drink. Right. Okay. So, let's get my piece of music ready. Let's just have a look. Oh, comments have been going busy. Right, let's have a look. Okay. Yeah, if you've got any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. I'll normally go through afterwards and answer through any questions that anybody might have. So we're going to do now a port de bras. So at this moment in the class, I'm just going to explain a little bit about what our theme of today is going to be. I always like to theme my sessions in the virtual village hall around the different ballets, because that's what I do for my Silver Swans classes. When I'm teaching my online sessions, each term we choose a different ballet and we focus a lot of our work around it, learn some repertoire from it. So today's session, we're going to look at the ballet of Lasalle. Now, there is another ballet called Lasalle, not to be confused, two very different stories. Lasalle is set in Scotland. And it's still all, both of them are about sylphs, these fairy-like creatures. But Lasalle setting Scotland, dancing, male dancer got kilts on. Is a brilliant ballet. I do recommend watching that one. And this is Lasalle, a lot less well known, slightly less performed. Beautiful music. Music is all set to the music of Chopin. So, and it is what was described as a ballet blanc. It was a kind of revolutionary for its time. It was the first plotless ballet, which obviously is quite a, it's quite a common thing nowadays. We don't really think much about, just a ballet, just a piece of choreography being made just because it's beautiful. And this was really the first of its kind. The only story is that there is a poet goes wandering into the woods and comes across a group of sylphs. And they dance, and that is the story of it. Beyond that, it's just beautiful piece of music, beautiful dancing, and like I said, all set to the music of Chopin. So I've chosen for our port de bras a piece of Chopin just to kind of get us in the mood for that. So feet in first position. The word port de bras, I've kept using that today. Port de means carriage of, and your bras is your arms. So if you take your arms into an oval shape, so your fingertips are just in front of the middle of your thighs, elbows pointing round to the side, so they're not behind you there, we call that bras bar. Now, keeping your arms in the same shape, you're going to lift them up in front of you so it's opposite your waist, and we call that first position. If you keep going all the way up, we'll call that fifth position. Got a little bit out of order there, but they're the same shape, all those arm positions. You go back to first for a moment and open them out to the side, so they've still got a curved shape. You always have a curved shape in ballet. That's our second position. So those are the main positions that we're going to need today. Bras bar, first, second, and also that fifth position. So fifth position is just a little bit in front of you. Be careful it doesn't go behind you. We say that the distance between your hands is as wide apart as your face. Elbows to the side, shoulders down, nice long neck. That's the most common thing, is shoulders going up in that position. So we're going to use a little bit of those, but also we're going to use our arabesque, because this is quite important for our little bit of repertoire today. Arabesque, one of the most if you asked somebody to find an image of a ballet dancer, they would probably talk about an arabesque. It's kind of one of the most iconic shapes a ballet dancer can hold. So if you put one arm in front of you, I'll turn to face the side so that you can see me. One hand in front of you, it's a nice soft elbow, and your front hand is about the height of the bridge of your nose. And your other hand is going to go straight out to the side. Both hands are sloping down. Now, if I just open that arm out to the side, you can see I've actually made a diagonal line. Now, if I bring that arm in front now, that is my first arabesque. There, I'll turn to face the other side to show you. Yeah. And we can have first arabesque with either hand in front. Okay, so feet in first position. We're going to take our hands out to a low arabesque. So your right hand is going to come straight forward as your left hand goes out to the side. And then we'll lower back to bras bar. Then we'll go a little bit higher up to our full height and down. Now, just like we did at the bar, where we take a port de bras with our right hand, we now know these positions of the arms. So we're going to take one with our right hand all the way up, opening out and down, and then one with the left hand all the way up, opening out and down. Then we'll repeat again with the other hand in front. So left hand goes in front, right hand goes to the side. It's low and in, very floating arms. Feel like it's floating upwards and down. Then your left hand will reach up, taking it up, shoulder down, big circle out as it passes through second, back to bras bar, and then your other hand goes up, opening out and lowering down to bra bar. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be sylphs in today's session, fairy-like. So, you know, very floating, soft arms. Describe the outfit for you. It's a long, romantic tutu, white, all white, white body. So think like the Giselle, very famous Giselle outfits. It's kind of in that style, long romantic tutus, all white, very ethereal looking. So you can feel very ethereal as your arms are floating out and floating back in again. Okay, so we've got a beautiful piece of Chopin to dance to. Find it, here we go. Okay, feet in first. So we're going to take our right hand forwards, left hand to the side and lowering down. Same again, taking your hands up, a little bit higher. Now your right hand will take the port de bras through first up to fit, opening it out and down. It's the movement we've done quite a few times this session, but now you know what it's all about. First to fit, second, and down. Now we'll take our other hand in front, and down. A little bit higher, one hand forward, one hand to the side. And circling your hand up, opening it up. And the other hand. Okay, good. Right. So, onto our repertoire now. I'll just play you actually the music that we're going to learn, just a little section of from Lasalle Feed. Let me find it here. Oops. Here we go. So this is the Prelude from Lasalle Feed. It's one of the most beautiful solos. I danced this when it was my dancing days, and it was always one of my favourite solos to do. Very calm solos to do. You know, there's nothing flashy, you know, fast turns, things like that. It's all about the beauty and the grace of your port de bras. Very difficult to control actually, especially when you're doing it in point shoes. Quite a haunting melody actually. So there's lots of mime in this. So I'll go through a few different little bits of mime. We can have listening. With this one comes a lot. So it's like you're listening to somebody, but your hand is placed quite delicately. I'll come up to my screen then you can see a bit closer. So I'm just placing my hand here. My other hand is very almost Disney princess-like. Is placed at the side. And then we can have a go at the other side. And that is actually one of the main things that we have throughout this solo. We listen on one side and your arms float. And then we slowly swap over to listen at the other side. Okay. Now, also at the very end of the solo, we have this. Okay. It's like telling somebody to shush, but obviously your hand is a lot more delicately placed and your other hand is pushed out at the side. Okay, because it's very quiet. You're in the woods, and so we're listening and we're floating around as a beautiful sylph. Now, there's one key feature of this solo, and it's that it's meant to be nighttime. It's a full moon, and so you'll keep seeing in the solo. It's quite a long solo. You'll keep seeing this gesture, and that is going up to the moon. So that does actually appear in this. So if you gather your hands up, imagine you're lifting the moon upwards. So you're lifting your hands up, palm of your hands up, and then you can give it a little push there. Okay, and that is your little gesture up to the moon. Because like I said, it's nighttime. It's very ethereal, the whole solo. We're going to make like a little bit of a zigzag pattern on the floor for this. So I'm going to begin on my left side. So if you just follow me as a mirror image, you should be fine. But don't worry too much about the directions. It's more about getting the mood of this ballet correct. So feet in first position. Do you remember our arabesques that we did, that low arabesque at the start of our port de bras? One hand in front, one hand at the side. So as we're going to the right side, your right hand is going to lead. As you're going to go to the left side, your left hand will lead. So right hand, we're going to take some slow walks. Now in ballet, we walk with our big toe leading. Well, normally if you're walking to the shops, you'd walk with your heel leading. It's our big toe because obviously we generally have noisy point shoes on. So, and we're rippling through our feet, then we'll just start to go a little bit faster. So you're now on this side of your room, on the right side, and then we're going to listen. And then we're going to swap over to the other side and listen. Now, you've got your left hand hopefully up at your ear here, because then it can push out and we can go over to the left, and then we can listen again. Okay, so we've made a zigzag shape across the stage. Like, you know, imagine it's a very dark stage because it's meant to be nighttime. Got a big moon up there as part of the set, and you've got on your beautiful long white romantic tutu. Let's just have a go at that little bit with music. Okay, and so we're walking on, and we're going a little bit faster. And we're listening. Swapping over to the other side. And we're going to walk over to this side. Something pulls us over here. And we listen. Okay, good. Take that just a little bit more. So, we've just finished off here and we're listening. We're going to walk back into the middle of the room now. So walking into the middle of the room, feet into first position. And we're going to take our gesture up to the moon. Now, normally in the solo, we are facing the back at this moment. The dancer turns around this way to go up. But so you can keep following along with the video, I've just tweaked the choreography. So you can keep following along with me. So we're lifting the moon up, and you'll hear a little highlight in the music at that moment. Da-da-dum, bum, bum. Now from here, your arms are going to melt and change. So keep your left hand still curved upwards, and your right hand is going to curve down. Okay. So as we're here, it just curves. Now don't worry too much if you decide to do it with the other arm. It just goes into this beautiful curved position, which we get an awful lot in this ballet. So we're here. Lowering your hands down. We're going to take 2 walks going forwards. Walking. Point your foot in front now. I'll just move back so you can see my feet. And we're going to go into our hushed position. Okay? And that's the end of the first section. That's what we're going to learn up to today. So we've got this little floating walking on. It's very slow. You've heard from the music. It's so slow. It's haunting almost, the melody in this. So we're walking on with our right foot. Walking. We're keeping going, and then we listen. Listening on the other side. Then it pulls us over here as we're listening. And we listen again. Now, we go into the middle and gesture up to the moon. There's no rush. We've got lots of time. And gesture up. Now I want to take our hands to that beautiful curved position. One curve up, one curve down. It's quite tricky, that arm position. Walking forward, you can have a practice at the end of a session. Go and find a mirror somewhere and practice finding one curve up and one curve down. And then we go into our little hushed pose at the end because it's nighttime. Okay, so let's have a go with music from the very beginning. I'll get you set up. There's not really much of an introduction on this music, so I'll have to kind of run quite quickly. So I'll just get you set up first of all. So we're on the left side of our room, feet in first position, your right hand is in front, and it's going to lead us off in a little zigzag shape. Let's go with music. Okay, let's go. And 1, 2, so we're walking, and we're listening. on the other side. And we go to this side and listen again. Now we're going to go into the middle. And gesturing your hands up to the moon. You can hear that highlight there. And curving one arm up, one arm down. And walking. Walk, walk, and push. Okay, good. I think we've got time just to try that one more time. Yes, quickly, one more time, we'll just do that. Okay, let's go again. Now you know what it's all about. Especially, I hope you can really hear it in the music on that little lift there. Okay. Whoops. Walking. And going to the side and listening. Swapping over to the other side. And listening again. And we're going to walk over and listen. And coming into the middle. And we're going to gesture up to the moon. And curved arms. One curve up, one curve down. And walking, walking, pointing. That's it, good. Oh, it's such a lovely, calming solo. It really is. Okay, we're going to finish off now with our curtsy and cool down, curtsies, bows and cools down. So feet in first. So we'll just take a little curtsy with one foot at the back. Feet into first. Curtsy. And if we've got any gentlemen joining today, then you can take a bow. I'll tell you when we put that in with the music. If you don't like balancing with your foot on the demi point at the back for a curtsy, just pop your feet into third position and take it as a little bend and stretch. Let's just follow along now for your cool down. Okay, so feet together. We're going to breathe in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And out. And we'll take our curtsy or bow. Curtsy or bow. Okay, now let's just walk around the room like we did at the beginning of the lesson, really focusing on your breathing. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Okay. Well done, everybody. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about the Ballet of Les Solfège. There is actually a video lurking around on YouTube of me performing that solo. So if you managed to come across it, that is me performing the solo. So if you want to find out more about my Silver Swans classes, I do run online classes on Zoom. I'll pop the link into the comments afterwards. If you've got any questions as well, please feel free to ask away. Have a lovely day, everybody, and I'll see you soon.